Good morning. I welcome you to the 24-25 school year here at South Aiken. So welcome and welcome back. So let's look at our code of conduct. There are not a lot of big changes or revisions, so there should not be a lot of surprises here, but let's get going. I suggest you have your code of conduct out so you can ask questions along the way. So please bring your code of conduct with you every day for the next week. So if you have questions about any of it, we can answer those for you. Also, make sure that you sign that last page in the code of conduct and turn that into your homeroom teacher. And then, of course, ultimately conduct yourself in accordance with this code of conduct. So, every day, what are things that we expect from you? One, you're going to wear your badge at all times. It needs to be visible around your neck. Okay. So, you're not going to have it in your wallet, in your back pocket, and in your book bag. It needs to be visible at all times. It will be $5 replacement fee for each time that you do not have it on or you have lost it. Come dressed for success. So no headphones, hat, hoodies, pajamas, slippers. While you might look cute, it might not be appropriate here at school. So please make sure you pay attention to those dress code sections. Come ready to learn, that growth mindset. You are here to learn. Things are going to be difficult. So please advocate for yourself. You're learning new things. We are challenging you and growing your mind. Okay. So expect challenges, but that we are here to help you learn. Okay. Use your win time. And then ultimately walk away from confrontations. And we'll get that in more depth later. But if you see something going down, walk away. Okay, so you will be looking at this in all of your classes this week. And so here is that schedule. You will sign that you have reviewed this with your teacher. You're not signing that you agree with it, but you're signing that this has been explained to you. Okay. So, our code of conduct comes from student services at district office, and ultimately, they are focused on providing support services to the entire school community by building programs, personalized learning, educational opportunities, and services that promote positive youth development. That's going to make you successful after high school. So the code of conduct is going to be based off of state and federal law, and it applies to anybody that is on our campus or an extension of our campus at any time. Okay, so if you're on school grounds other than when school is happening, so you're here for a football game or a choir concert or baseball practice, you are still expected to uphold a code of conduct. If you bring a date to homecoming, they are expected to follow this code of conduct. Whoever drops you off and picks you up for school or that school event is under the jurisdiction of this code of conduct. Okay. This also extends to digital and electronic devices. So, emailing, using your school email, using the Schoology messages. We do have software that helps us monitor all of that. So anything you do on your school provided um, laptop, but also your cell phone in class or your tablet in class can also fall under this jurisdiction. Okay, so bullying, what it is and what it isn't. Okay, bullying is ongoing and deliberate misuse of power. Okay, so power could be, relationship based. So boyfriend, girlfriend. It could also be teacher, student, or captain of a team, member of a team. Okay, but ultimately, this is ongoing and it is repetitive and it is purposeful. It is meant to cause verbal, physical, or psychological harm. Okay. It can happen in person or online. Okay. It could be obvious, it could be covert. Okay. But ultimately, bullying is something that happens over time. It is not one single incident between people. Okay. So what it is not someone getting mad at you that you sat in their seat. It is not one altercation with someone or random act of aggression. You might not know this person at all. It is not a mutual argument. So, like you're both upset at each other and you're yelling at each other. That is not bullying. While those things are unfortunate and we do not want them to happen on our campus, they are not bullying. Okay. Please make administration aware of any concerns. We would rather deal with instances of someone being mean than bullying. Bullying means that that person being mean and horrible to you has been going on for a while. Okay. And this will involve an investigation. Okay. So please report that. Dress code. So, dresses, skirts, shorts can be no shorter than 5 inches above your knee. So, while most of you probably already went back to school shopping, if you have more to do, please make sure that it's following this dress code. So, this is for girls and boys. Okay. Clothing must cover undergarments. We don't want to see bra straps. We don't want to see boxer bands. We don't want to see your underwear. Cover up. Shirts and tops have to have at least 3 inches on your shoulders, so no spaghetti straps, halter tops, things like that. Religious head coverings are allowed, and make sure you're wearing the appropriate undergarments. Okay, we definitely want to prepare you for a post-secondary world. So that means life after high school. So sometimes, like, what's the point of a dress code? Well, we're preparing you for the expectations of what it's like to go to work every day. Okay, so build those habits. So have good hygiene. Come showered, teeth brushed, face washed. Wear deodorant. And then, of course, make sure your wardrobe is appropriate, that it falls within the code of conduct. But also remember that as it's getting colder, make sure you are bringing things to like a sweater or a jacket for when it does get colder. Um, if you need help with any of these things, Posh Pantry, we are fully stocked with hygiene items, clothes, underwear, socks, um, t-shirts, shorts, pants. So if you need help, let us know. Okay, so what's going to get you in trouble? Having on a hat, hood, jacket, athletic band, sunglasses. They can and will be confiscated. Okay. You cannot have head coverings such as headbands, bandanas, bonnets, do rags, none of that. Okay. Anything showing your midriff or your back. So, girls, when you like to tie your shirt around your waist and knot it in the back, there should not be anything showing between your shirt and your pants. Okay. Nothing see through, no shoes with wheels or cleats, no slippers, pajamas. While they are comfortable and we understand that, remember your mindset. You are here to learn, you are here to prepare yourself for life after high school. And sometimes that means putting more effort into what we look like so we are mentally ready to learn and be our best self. Okay. And no wallet pocket chains. Dress code infractions are level ones, but they can build upon each other. Okay, you cannot sag. So pants should be worn at the waist. We should not be able to see your underwear. Anything that has tobacco, alcohol, drugs, guns, any type of violence, gang, sex, or disrespect um, are infractions. So that means double check your band t-shirts, double check that t-shirt that Aunt Linda gave you from this really cool winery from California that she went on. Double check there's nothing on there that is going to get you in trouble. So same thing with rips, tears, and holes. They cannot be above 5 inches unless you have something under them. Okay. Um, the language in here is that tights are not pants. So tights, leggings, they need to be under something. There should be no obscene language or gestures. So again, band T-shirts or events or just those quirky, funny T-shirts that you find at Hot Topic or Sheen or Temu. Double check them. We will ask you to turn it inside out, give you another T-shirt, call home for something different, or you could sit in ISS. Okay, so we don't want you to do that. We want you to be in class. nothing with spikes on it. So, no dog collar kind of fashion. And then really a safety issue of wearing flip flops. If the worst case scenario happens and you need to run, flip flops are not conducive to that, and you can fall and get hurt. And so, definitely do not wear flip flops. Okay. What is a level one? So it's our one of three levels of infractions. So it is something to where you yourself, the person doing the behavior, is just not learning. And it can also be that you do something so often. So it might seem really minor and like it's not a big deal, but if you're doing it often to where you're not learning, it's going to become a level one. Okay. So these will result in parent conference, detention, ISS, and possibly OSS if they continue. So this could be just using obscene language, being defiant, disrespectful to faculty, staff, any adult in the building, cutting class, dress code violations, being off limits. So if your classroom is on the 200 hall, but yet you're out on the 300 hallway, um, chatting it up, that could be out of area. Okay. Lying, PDA, there's no physical display of affection. Okay. You're allowed a 3-second hug, hold hands, but we're not kissing, groping, nothing of that nature. Okay. And then cell phone violations. Unless your teacher gives you explicit instruction of like, hey, we're going to have a 2-minute brain break while we transition. Okay. But every teacher has their own policy of what that looks like, where your phone should be during class. If a teacher is explicitly giving you instructions, they're going over that new material, you're supposed to be doing an activity with your group members and you're on your phone, that is an infraction and can be a referral. Cutting class, if you go to the bathroom and you are gone for more than 15 minutes, it will become a cutting class referral. And sometimes those can combine. Maybe you're cutting class and you're off limits, you're on the other side of the school. Okay, so be mindful that you should also have your agenda to do that, so we're able to monitor that time. Please do not use that to meet up with your friends and roam the halls. Um, Teachers and administrators are aware of that, and it will be a referral and parent conference. So we will let your parents know that you're skipping class to meet with your friends. So don't do that. Level 2 is where a behavior is impacting other people from learning. And sometimes it does have a criminal offense. And we do have to get legal entities involved. Okay. So you could have ISS, OSS, and could be recommended for expulsion. So this is using obscene language and gestures to staff, harassment, possession of contraband, refusal to obey. So we've asked you to take off that hat and either you ignore us, you keep putting it back on. That's going to be refusal to obey. Theft under $100. So like say the tea stand is selling tea and their snacks, and you steal some of it because you forgot your wallet at home or whatever, that's a level 2 infraction. Horseplay. So even if it is your friend and you're just goofing off, don't do it because accidents happen. Okay. Keep your hands off of each other. Possession of tobacco products. Disturbing class. If you are preventing other kids from learning, this is where it will be a level 2. Forgery. So that's forging a paper that a teacher sent home for you, a permission slip, or turning in false documentation for an absence. Bullying, retaliating against a bully, or false accusations of a bully. The big one here is going to be fighting. So if you are engaged in a physical confrontation, you will get a level 2 referral. Okay. If you are a person that is instigating or is, keeping that conflict going, you're the person going in between saying she said, he said, well, I heard, let me show you this text message, let me show you this TikTok or whatever that they posted. You will also be written up for fighting. If you are recording a fight or an altercation, you will also receive a referral for that. And those are suspensions based on your own discipline history. It could be ISS, it could be OS, it will be OSS. but the level of days will be determined on your own discipline history. Understand with all referrals come an investigation, and consequences are at administrator's discretion based on the code of conduct. Okay. Again, the only appropriate response to fighting is to walk away. If you don't want to be given a suspension for standing watching and recording it, instigating it, walk away and report it to an adult in the building so we can deal with it and de escalate that. A level 3, okay, so this is where a person's safety and health is endangered by the action of others. So just like the others, it'll be a suspension, recommendation for expulsion, and we could get law enforcement involved, and you could have to pay restitution. Okay. So simple aggravated assault. So these are fights that are more intense. Possessing a firearm or weapon, that could be anybody on this campus. So also think of if you're having to borrow your uncle's truck because yours broke down, um, and he went hunting this weekend and it's unfortunately there, and we get a report, you're going to get that referral. So understand possession um, is what it comes down to. Do you have it, and are you responsible for that backpack, that vehicle? Okay. Possessing, being under the influence, selling illegal drugs and paraphernalia, arson, setting things on fire, indecent exposure. And you can read this list. Okay, all of these are level 3s. So we have forced sex acts and non-forced sex acts. So even if you are consenting, remember that is not appropriate at school, and you will get a referral and suspension and a recommendation for expulsion for those actions. Looking at the very bottom of the list, other serious offenses. So these are things that you have done maybe out in the community and you've been arrested for it. You can still face some repercussions here at school. The new one that's added this year is sextortion. So this is where, you liked this person and you sent some, we will call spicy photos of yourself to that person, and now that person is sharing them. Okay. That is going to get you a referral. And we will follow the code of conduct on that based on your own discipline history and the details of that incident. Okay. But let me just make the recommendation to not take or send such photos of yourself or others. Okay. Attendance. Okay, you are required to turn in documentation within 5 days. So if you miss school on a Tuesday because you were sick and had the flu, we need that note within 5 days. So if you miss Tuesday and Wednesday, we need to have that back by that following Monday. Okay. If you're going to be gone for over 5 days, Mr. Fuller has to approve that. So you need to contact Mr. Fuller and say, hey, my family booked a cruise to celebrate my acceptance into college or my parents' 30th anniversary, whatever it is. He needs to approve that. Also be aware, if you miss exams, EOC testing, or any big test during that time, if Mr. Fuller did not approve that, you do not have to, teachers do not have to give you that work to make up. Okay. EOC testing, absolutely. We will do our best to get that done and work ahead of time before you leave. Okay. No documentation means it is unlawful absence, and 5 of those will make you truant, to where we will have an official attendance intervention. And if we need to proceed to legal proceedings to help you get to school, we will do that. So a lawful and unlawful absence. Lawful is defined that you're sick and being at school will put you in danger. No one wants to spread the flu. Keep your sick self at home, but you're going to need that medical note from your doctor. If someone within your immediate family gets really sick or unfortunately passes, you have 3 days that we give you excused for that. And then, of course, we recognize your religious holidays. For the longer ones that kind of span a certain amount of time, we might need something from your religious leader and organization for that documentation on our side of it. And then, of course, emergencies happen. We get it. but communicate that with us, okay? An unlawful absence is that you just chose not to come to school, whether your parents know about it or not. Okay. There truly is no acceptable reason, meaning you're not sick, there wasn't an emergency, you just didn't come to school. Um, you failed to turn in documentation. So even if you were really sick and you didn't turn anything in, even a parent note, it is unfortunately unlawful. Okay. So when you are out, our makeup work policy is that you have to have an excused absence for a teacher to give you the work. Now, some teachers are just really awesome and will give it to you regardless. But if you are unexcused, a teacher does not have to let you make up that work. So please be aware of that. You get 1 day for every day that you are out to make up that work, up to 5 days. So even if you were out longer than 5 days, that is your limit. Now, in extreme circumstances, we absolutely will work with you, but be mindful. The code of conduct says 1-to-1 up to 5 days. But use your win time for tutoring, make up your quizzes and tests, turn in your homework, all of that. So if you're tardy, you can also have lawful and unlawful tardies. Ultimately, documentation. Turn in that note that you went to the doctor or the dentist this morning or the orthodontist. If you were sick and you missed the bus, um, if you had a headache and needed the time for the medicine to kick in or whatever it is, you need to make sure that you communicate that. This is also like if a teacher kept you after class to kind of give you the makeup work or to, follow up on something. A teacher needs to write that note in your agenda, and that is a lawful tardiness. Unlawful is that you overslept. You just didn't feel like it. You were having a bad morning. You missed the car, or you missed the bus, or you have car trouble. Those things are unlawful. And then there's a limit of 3 parent excuses for that. Okay. Tardy blitz. We will be doing tardy blitzes throughout the year. They are unannounced. Okay. If you are caught in a tardy blitz, you will report to the commons. You will sign in and you will be given lunch detention for the entire lunchtime. So that whole hour. Typically, lunch detention is a half, the first half of one time. But a tardy blitz is the entire time. We will call you to get lunch early, but you will be serving that for the entire one time. Also, understand if you put someone else's name down on that tardy blitz, that will result in another referral. So put your name down. We have video cameras. We will pull that if needed. So tardies, you can see that here. Consequences are at the administrator's discretion. We really want to work with you, but please be here on time. You're going to miss crucial instruction. I will say upperclassmen tend to get caught in this, and then siblings of older students who are dependent on them to get here on time. Make sure you're here on time, guys. Bus discipline. Our code of conduct is, of course, on the buses as well. So level 1 would be that it impedes the orderly operation of a school vehicle. Okay. A level 2 is where it is directed against a person or property and endangers the health and safety of someone on the bus. Okay. So level 3 is it's violent to oneself or another person. It's destruction of property, and it poses a direct and serious threat to the safety of people on the bus. Okay. And we typically say that's criminal conduct. Okay. So we do deal with that. Your administrator will address bus discipline as well. So a level 1 would be just not following the basic rules on the bus, getting off or on at the wrong stop, eating or drinking on the bus, leaving your trash. And you can see that. Maybe you just you're really excited about something that happened at school today and it's disruptive to the bus driver and it's just too much. That could be a violation. Okay, so you can see the consequences here. Warning, you're suspended for 3 days, then 5 days, 10 days, and then it could be 10 or more. You can have your permission to ride the bus and use district transportation. That can be revoked. Okay, so if you are dependent on the bus to get you to school, parents are never happy to hear that they have to make arrangements to get you here because you couldn't act right. Okay. Level twos, possessing and using tobacco products, throwing things on the bus, refusing to sit in the assigned seat, using profanity and those obscene gestures, writing on the seats or the walls, um, being disrespectful, harassing other people on the bus, horseplay, depending on what that looks like, and then spraying things on the bus. So fart spray, cologne, spray deodorant, anything that's strong smelled in nature. I wouldn't recommend doing that in an enclosed space. Um, and so you see your consequences are the same to where you could be removed for the school for the remainder from the bus for the remainder of the school year, and then you'll have a sit down meeting with your parents, and so this could also be out of school suspension. So a bus violation doesn't mean it just affects you on the bus. You can be suspended from school based on what has happened. Okay, and if you've destroyed something, then you might have to pay to fix it or replace it. Level threes, fighting on the bus, physically abusing or hitting someone else, possessing explosives or fireworks, carrying a weapon or anything that could be used as a weapon, um, persistent, uncontrollable conduct, like you're just not following the rules and nothing we have done as a intervention has worked. Having and using, distributing alcohol, drugs, paraphernalia, or anything that looks like drugs. So maybe you have a headache and your friend, has a medical note for Tylenol and they give you some. Unfortunately, that could be a referral. Pushing and tripping that leads to injury, harassing others, vandalizing the bus, and sexual misconduct. Okay. Consequences, out of school suspension, recommendation for expulsion for the remainder of the year, notification of law enforcement, and restitution. Okay. So sometimes, like if you have done something that's destroyed um, the bus, a lot of times they will not let you back on the bus until that restitution, that payment has been completely fulfilled. Okay. So I hope that you will have a good school year. Please ask any clarifying questions with your teachers, but come ready to learn, walk away from fights, wear your ID badges, and be your best self. And remember, every thoroughbred, every day, all means all.